Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, so by way of introduction, I would like to get to know each of you better a little bit in terms of your background. Is it okay, you guys?
It's a little low.
Is it low?
Move it up, but no, you know that it works.
Oh my hell.
Oh,
this.
Yeah, just.
There we go. She's gonna laugh when she sees the first one. So I want to get a better understanding of who you are and why you're doing this course and why you are venturing into a world of publishing, where you are professionally, where you are academically, and just get to know you better, and then you'll give you a little bit of my background. And then tonight's lecture is going to be very introductory in terms of the world of digital, because I think before we talk about marketing, which has a lot of digital features to it and a lot of marketing theory to it, and for those of you who did marketing at an undergrad course, I mean, all of those things still apply. But I think in the publishing world, where we work with content, Google also does content. So our biggest competition is actually Google. And what is our role as publishers, and how do we market and sell that value add that we give? Okay, so I'm going to start here. Just your name, who you are, where you're from, why you're doing this, and what do you hope to get out of this course?
Okay, my name is Puleng Hotwane. Originally I'm from Pretoria, and I'm currently working in a publishing company. I enrolled for this course because I'm currently in a publishing.
Which company are you at?
Jonathan Ball Publishing.
Oh wow!
And
I'll tell you a story about Jonathan Ball.
It's a lot of stories.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Batman. But it's Eugene Ashton's now CEO. Okay.
And academically, I have a BTech degree in language practice, so I'm going for a BA honors in publishing.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I want to pursue a career in publishing.
Okay. And what do you do at Jonathan Ball?
I'm a sales assistant. I'm in sales and marketing.
Okay, so this is a very important module for you. Okay. So I just want to make a note about that. So you're a sales assistant at Jonathan Ball. All right. Well, welcome.
I'm Libu Muchachi.
There we go.
Yes, LIVHU.
You're already busy with your masters.
I'm trying to get there.
It took me 5 years.
Yeah. So my background is journalism.
Okay.
I work for the SABC.
Okay.
I did a BTech in journalism at Tshwane University of Technology.
Yeah.
And then I did media studies and honors in media studies with Wits University.
Wow.
Yes.
So still at SABC?
Yes.
You're still there.
Yes.
And the reason for doing the publishing honors?
I wanted to merge the writing with the business of making books.
Okay.
Seeing that even a lot of journalists now are either writers or commissioners, so I wanted to put that together.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And maybe write and publish one day.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Welcome.
My name's Danielle Lamason. I did my undergrad at Rhodes in English and journalism, and I ended up enjoying the English side more than the journal side, so publishing seemed like a good fit.
Okay. Are you originally from the Eastern Cape? Or?
No, I'm from Joburg. I just went there to
Okay.
do my undergrad.
Okay. So immediately after undergrad, you enrolled for this.
I finished my BA last year.
Okay. And currently working part-time somewhere, or?
Nope.
Okay, so you are studying hard full-time. Good. Well, welcome. And then Nicole. Yes, you're my video lady. You too.
Yes, my name is Nicole.
Nicole Sturd, hey?
Yes.
Okay.
I studied English literature and media studies here at Wits. Last year I finished my undergrad, and I've always wanted to do publishing since I started, so it was to get the undergrad degree so I could do publishing studies here. I'm not working at the moment. I'd like to.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping ears out for that. But yeah.
Okay. And what do you? So for you, this is just a kind of next step after the English studies undergrad that you did. Hey?
Well, yes, yeah, I've wanted to make books. That's always been the plan. But I wasn't quite sure when I first started. I thought I'd better take something that's a bit more general in case I changed my mind, but I didn't. So
I did the same. I thought I'd do psychology, and then I started smoking because of psychology. So I started psychology. It didn't work for me. So what kind of books are you interested in kind of which area of the publishing industry?
Ooh, it's hard to tell. I really enjoyed the commissioning class last year, so last semester, so I'd love to go into commissioning.
Trade, specifically trade books?
Trade books specifically. I'd love to do fiction, but as it doesn't sell so much in South Africa, I would probably dabble in the non-fiction side.
Yeah, as you do in South Africa. Right, next to you.
My name is Catherine.
Catherine.
And I also just got my undergrad here at Wits, and I did my undergrad in English literature and history of art. And I'm here because I like reading and I would like to make money from reading.
That is a good idea. That's the perfect reason to study publishing.
I specifically want to go into like the editing side,
Okay.
copywriting and proofreading, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Because I'm not very good at writing, but I'd like to help with the process.
Yeah. And you know what, your writing skills develop the older you get, the more life experience you have. Because I also like the editing bit first, and now I'm actually ghostwriting for people's stuff. So it happens. And I did commissioning, so, and it's just because I like reading. So men are threatened by that when women read. If it's just an assumption, you can prove me wrong. Good evening, welcome. I'm just asking everyone to introduce themselves to me, and then I'll introduce me.
Hi, my name is Wendy. Yeah, and I'm here.
Wendy, background, did you study with? Did you study somewhere else? Are you working? What's happening?
Okay, I studied journalism, and then I've been writing I wrote for print publication as well as online publication. I currently work as a copywriter for ecotourism.
For ecotourism?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of writing, a lot of editing, and publishing as well.
Okay. So it's just a way of improving your skills in your current position. And do you enjoy the work that you do now?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like it. Welcome. And I saw you in her office, Babongile.
Yes. Yeah, my name's Leah. So I arrived yesterday from Durban.
Wow.
So, long story, I'm trying to kind of very short. I registered for the course in 2013 when I was working at Pan Macmillan. And so I moved back home, which is, Durban. So I've been deferring since 2015.
Okay.
So I actually thought, no way, I actually just need to
Finish.
Finish, actually. So my background is journalism and media studies at Rhodes University. And then I did honours in English language and linguistics as well when I was there. And then, so my next kind of thing after that was the publishing honours.
Okay.
So I worked at Shoots and Shoots Publishers, which was quite interesting to see the textbook side of publishing.
Yeah.
And it was quite interesting because there's a lot of the people who work there are kind of ex-teachers, so they have come to grips with the curriculum and things like that. So I felt like a little bit on the back foot. In that kind of environment, but Pan Macmillan was very kind of exciting getting to work with authors like Craig Henderson.
Yes.
Shivers.
So when did you finish at Pan Macmillan?
Beginning of 2016.
Okay. And then you went to work with Shutter and Shooter.
So that was before Pan Macmillan.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm at a retail research company that I'm not really enjoying so much with like the FMCG industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So ideally, I'd like to get back
into publishing, but in Durban, obviously. Or not, anywhere.
Yeah.
So are you joining us for the 6 months here? Have you relocated
so
to?
for 6 weeks. So I'm working kind of off-site
Okay.
at work, at work, and I'm not actually sure about this.
Okay. Well, we hope you can be here
I hope so.
all 12
I
weeks.
really hope so.
Yeah. So welcome. And I've met Wilson. We were friends walking to class. Wilson, tell us.
Okay. Wilson Holland. I work for Transnet.
For?
Transnet.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm the National Manager of Special Services, and I have a master's degree in engineering from Mathare University and an MBA from University of Northwest.
What are you doing here? He will be the oracle.
I normally plan my life in 5-year segments. I'll be retiring in 3.5 years.
Sure.
And there are a list of books I'd like to write.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an organization I'm currently involved in that we're creating called Covenant Couples International.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look in the next 3 to 5 years, I needed to do this course because I'll be doing a lot of writing, I'll be doing a lot of editing and publishing, and I'd also like to do some publishing work when I retire.
It's lovely. I did my master's in self-publishing, or vanity press, if you want to call it that. But technology makes it a whole lot easier for anyone to say what they think and feel.
Diploma in information systems.
Yeah. So I mean, even Kim Kardashian is making everything publicly known. So
I'm interested in the digital publishing.
yes,
That
yes.
is what I really.
Okay, well tonight's lecture is very much on that because that's my passion. And I need you to understand who I am, and then we'll do marketing.
Did you say you did your master's in self?
In self-publishing, yeah. So at University of Pretoria. So it was really just how academics don't actually need publishers anymore. Because at that point I was a commissioning editor at Van Skyke, and all the lecturers that I engaged with said they don't want to work with publishers anymore because they can make more money doing it themselves. And so looking into all of that and why it's happening. And I must say my research, my master's was still based on basically Web 2 technologies. So the moment really the dawn of the internet, when we had push-pull technology, so read-write, not just read. And it's so moved beyond that. I could probably do my doctorate on that as well if I had the time. But yeah, so it's very interesting. But I'll share some of that with you. So welcome, Wilson, and it's nice to see someone reinventing themselves before retirement. Yes.
Hi, I'm Michelle Safi. I'm from Rustenburg. I studied my undergrad at the University of Pretoria, BCom General, majoring in Business, Marketing and Communication Management.
Sure.
Yeah. Straight after that, I did my honours in Communication Management, also at the University of Pretoria. And then I was tired of studying, so I took the first 6 months of this year off, and then I came here. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's fine. I work as an executive and communications assistant at a company called Global Water Partnership Southern Africa. I, very much like you, am in publishing because I like reading, and making work or making money out of reading is like dream job. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome. What does Global Water, what do they
Water
do?
Partnership Southern Africa. So it's a Southern Africa branch of GWP Global.
Okay.
We're a financing partner for like research and
Wow.
it's like research projects to find out what water projects can be implemented in different countries.
Okay.
So,
And they obviously have lots of research publications or documents or white papers or
yeah,
things like that.
they do.
Okay.
but we're not really involved in that. We're not involved in the publishing side. I'm only in publishing because I like to read, and that's just what I want to do.
Okay.
I just started working there because all my lecturers sat me down while I was doing my honours, and they were like, listen, you really need some experience before you do your masters. And then I freaked out, and then 3 weeks later I had this job. So I was just like, first come, first serve.
Yeah.
We more the like financing
Okay.
side, which is hard.
Any experience is good experience. I did, you'll see from my history, we ran a project for Google. We had our own company for a couple of years, and we ran a digital skills training program for the youth in South Africa. And we would actually, after that, we'd sit and help them with their CVs and stuff, and they'd say, oh, I don't have experience. Anything, if you help out at church, if you walk someone across the street for that matter, and your intention was pure and honest, you put that on your CV. Because people want to see intent more than they want to see qualifications. So, good on you for being here. Yes, my friend.
All right. My name is Lewis Cool.
Lewis.
Lewis Cool.
That is Lewis Cool. That is the coolest name. Lewis Cool. Hello.
That's the name. It's a true statement. But I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised there. I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Shortly thereafter, I joined the Peace Corps. And after the Peace Corps, did the Merit Corps. So a lot of volunteer service, a lot of travel, and teaching.
Yeah.
And after that, I apprenticed at the Pyramid Atlantic Art Center,
Yeah.
making books, paper,
Yeah.
bindings, all sorts of things. I just really love books. So I'm here enrolled in this
It warms the
program.
cockles of my heart.
Yeah. I'm here enrolled in a program to learn how to make money out of books.
Well, maybe that's not it. No money in books. So how long have you been in South Africa?
6 months.
Only 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow. And how are you finding our awesome country? We know how to sort our shit. We know.
Okay,
We can have fights, but we know how to sort our shit. We're very passionate.
So far, it's been. I haven't quite found the word.
No, you're right. Every country has their own word.
Yeah.
In South Africa, it's lekker. Everything is lekker.
Okay.
She's in Yama, lekker.
Let's go with that.
Hey?
Let's go with that. Then.
Yeah. Okay, well, welcome. It's nice to have someone, and hopefully you can share some of your experience, especially in the Peace Corps. I think that's pretty amazing. It's my dream to go to Atlanta, Georgia one day.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
I
man.
think it's just fantastic.
It's a happening city.
Just to experience the southern hospitality.
It's crazy.
Good. Oh, welcome. We have one new member. We're just introducing ourselves.
My name is Jane.
Jane.
Stagey.
Wait, where are you? Do you have another name?
Lechani. L-E-T-S-H-A-N-I.
L-E-T-S, wait, let me see where it is. No, it's not on here, hey? How do you spell it?
L-E-T.
L-E-T-S-H-A-N-I.
N-I.
Lechani. It's not on here, Lechani. But I will check. And your surname? Ndlovu. Okay, I'll just check with Colleen. But that's not a problem. Welcome. The more the merrier. So Lechani, where are you from?
Kempton Park.
Kempton Park. It's a big drive, hey? Terrible traffic.
Then I got lost on the way.
Oh, shit. Don't worry. I also got lost here.
This place is huge.
Yeah. It's scary if you don't know Wits. I didn't know Wits, and you're like into this building, you're like, oh, do I ever get out of here?
Pretend like you know where you're going.
Yeah, you just pretend. Lechani, did you study at Wits?
No, first time.
At?
First time. Yeah.
First time at Wits. Okay, so what did you do before?
I did a diploma in engineering.
In engineering. Wow. And now the move from the hard sciences like engineering to the liberal arts?
Well, I like art, so I did the engineering for my parents.
I know that. We all know that, eh? But I'm sure they're happy. But now you have to make you happy. Fantastic. And what do you hope to achieve with an honors degree in publishing?
So my own publishing.
Great. We need new voices. Lots of them. So to get back to Jonathan Ball, I have to tell you a story. To give you my background as well. So I didn't know what I was going to study. After school I loved reading and I liked people, and so I enrolled for a BA General at Tux. But I took all the publishing modules and all the psych modules because I thought, oh, psychology people, it's made for me. Psychology stressed me out entirely. I don't think I'm ready for that. Did my honors, my undergrad in publishing, did my honors in publishing, and then enrolled for my masters. interned at Van Skype Publishers, so very much in the textbook, higher education textbook space. Worked there for 5 years, and then I got my master's, and my master's was about self-publishing. And then I was lucky enough that one of the directors at NASPASH read my master's, and they said, but they want us to start a company like that. So at that point we were competing globally with Lulu.com. You know Lulu? And Amazon's CreateSpace. So it's basically the same principle, but we wanted to do that for South Africa. And Koos Bakker said, it's the best way to make money, is you either come up with something really inventive and you do it well and you make money, but if you can't do that, you have to copy someone and do it better. That's the only two ways to make money. So we tried to copy. We wrote technology that cost us R1 million to develop. That was the early days of tech, and everything was bloody expensive. And when I did a presentation to Jonathan Ball, because he was part of the directorship of NASPASH, he said he is the only one that decides what gets published in his company. I'll always remember that. And here I am saying, well, not really. Anyone can publish anything, anywhere, anytime, and you can't actually judge whether it's good or bad, because it's, everyone has their own opinion. So what I like, you don't like, and technology makes it possible. If I sell 2 copies of that, it's fine. If I sell 2,000 copies, it's fine. So technology makes it a whole lot easier for us. So after that, our technology was cut up and sold to Bits in NASPASH. So on the dot used some of that technology for their e-magazines, and Spree and all of those companies, Spree and Super what? That's one. They did use our e-commerce, our first e-commerce tech with Kalahari. Then I decided, it's not for me, and they wanted to put me in a box. So I went to Pearson, and I was their digital publishing manager for a while, and then from there, really into digital and did digital strategy for the ATKV. And I mean, I'm Afrikaans, as you can hear, but the Afrikaanse Taal en Kultuurvereniging just wasn't for me. A lot of old men, that needed to reinvent themselves, so I didn't stay very long. Then I did e-commerce for 2 years, and then we decided, no, it's time to do our own business. So we had a business for 5 years that did digital transformation for companies, so everything, all your SMASA technologies, all of that. And then had the Google project for 2 years. And then I went on sabbatical because I didn't sleep for 2 years. We trained 73,000 people in 18 months, face to face. We had an online platform that only 2 people used. So in South Africa, the tech divide is still massive, especially when you go at a grassroots level. So after a sabbatical of 6 months, I also decided it's time to do something with my life again, and I am now an account manager at Cognition. So Cognition does e-learning. I like the idea around e-learning and the possibilities that it can open up for people who are far removed and have difficulty to access knowledge and information. And so that's where I am. I'm extremely passionate about publishing and books and love reading. And especially the whole digital issue around it and innovation and how you do innovation. I have an 11-year-old daughter who is the joy and the bane of my existence, but I love it to bits. And I hope we have some fun over the next 12 weeks. So at any point where you feel that I'm not giving enough, you have to tell me. Or if you feel I'm giving too much, you also have to tell me, because I tend to give lots of information, because I am an information person. Everything's information. Even this pen is like, don't throw it away, there's information in there. It's purple, it's blue, it's perfect. So tonight's lecture, we do have a textbook. And next week, I'll give you the breakdown of what we're going to do in that textbook. But I don't want this to be a formal, let's start and let's end with it. So tonight's lecture is very much about the whole digital world that we're living in. And we're going to start with a video. If you do want to take this down, that's my email and my mobile number. So at any point when you need anything, you just let me know. You can. I don't mind emails. I don't mind WhatsApps. It really doesn't bother me. Okay, has everybody got that?
No.
A lefty, I see.
Yes.
Mr. Cool.
Got it.
Got it. Great. I'm going to go out here because the video from PowerPoint never works. So we're going to watch this video. I hope the sound is hard enough. And maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't. But look at it, because this forms the basis of a lot of what we try to achieve in publishing. There are many other things as well, especially in South Africa. I'm sure you've heard this in your previous modules. There's so much we need to do in terms of new voices, new publishers, the kind of core and the heart of making things known. Years ago, I published an article on Indigenous knowledge and how publishing is a representational system for Indigenous knowledge. So those things exist. But in this class, we're going to be slightly on wings for a while. And because we have to see the possibilities, to be able to aspire to things and to see how we can change the bottom here to get where we want to go. All right. So without further ado, I'll shut up now. Please tell me there's sound. It's still not. There we go. Oh, there you go. So the head of Obama's social media is actually in South Africa end of July for a conference. Yeah. to get to know each of you better a little bit in terms of your background. Is it okay? Any thoughts? Hey? Oh, this.
Yeah, just
There we go. Actually, only a small. She's going to laugh because it's one of the channels that we can use. So I want to get a better understanding of who you are and why you're doing this course and why you are venturing into a world of publishing. Where you are professionally, where you are academically, and just get to know you better. And then you'll give you a little bit of my background. And then tonight's lecture is going to be very introductory in terms of the world of digital. We have to acknowledge the fact we talk about marketing, which has a lot of digital features to it and a lot of marketing theory to it. And for those of you who did marketing in an undergrad course, and all of those things to apply. But I think in the publishing world, where we work with content, Google also does content. So our biggest competition is actually Google. What is our role as publishers and how do we market and sell that value add? Okay, so I'm going to start here. Just your name, who you are, where you're from, why you're doing this, and what do you hope to get out of this course?
Okay, my name is Puleng.
370,000 calls every 60 seconds worldwide.
And I'm currently working
And this is not
I enrolled
curated content. By no means.
Which company are you at?
I mean YouTube.
Oh
Possibly.
wow!
If it's a
I'll tell you a story about Jonathan Ball.
Scribe.
Oh,
Possibly.
yes, that man.
Very much.
But it's now, Eugene Ashton's now CEO.
Human behavior.
and academically
And so what digital gives us that people who did marketing 20 years ago didn't have is we have consumer technology that allows us to see into the world of other people. Okay, so if you compare that to what was done in 2013, so that's 2 years later.
I just want to make a note about
We
that.
have 4
You're a
times
sales
more
assistant at
Google
Jonathan.
searches.
Alright, well, welcome.
Previous year. YouTube video uploads had increased by from 25 hours up to 3 days.
There we go.
3 days.
You're already busy with your masters.
2 hours of video content is loaded every 60 seconds.
It took me 5 years.
Relatives and friends spend 1.4 million minutes chatting on Skype. The amount of emails sent had increased to 36 million minutes. So sorry, it's not very clear there. I can make it available to you. But the point is, this is happening on the internet. It's not just happening on the internet.
So still at SABC?
Consumers are part of it.
And the reason for doing the
we are trying
publishing
to
honours?
sell people, whether it's a printed book, a digital book, an app to download so that you can read other books. We are competing for their attention in this space. We have to recognize that. And how do we fight for their eyeballs and their
And maybe
attention?
write and publish one.
So when you invent anything, try to
Thank you,
sell
welcome.
anything, your primary purpose is always to understand what is the job that needs to get done. So when I'm trying to sell a lawnmower to someone, I tell them, so they walk past my stall at an exhibition, and I say, sir, we have lawnmowers. And he says, no, he doesn't have grass. He's not my customer. So somebody else walks past me, and I said,
So
we sell the
immediately
best
after
lawnmowers
undergrad, you
in
enrolled for
Gauteng.
this.
And he says, yes, my grass is always this long. And then I start sending him.
And currently
on the
working
lawnmower.
part-time
The job that
somewhere,
needs to get done is
Okay, so
mowing lawns.
You are studying
But
hard
2
full-time.
stalls down, someone has invented grass
Well, welcome.
that doesn't grow high.
And then
into 2
Nicole.
centimeters.
Yes, you're my video lady.
It's just too expensive for us normal plebs to afford it. But there
Nicole
is that
Stern.
grass. So he also recognized the job that needs to get done is not cutting grass, it's not having grass grow in the first place. So because he looked at the job that needs to get done differently, he was able to offer a different product, invent a different product, and sell it differently.
Yeah.
What is the job that needs to get done for books?
Okay.
And what do you? So for you, this is just a kind of next step after the English
of
studies
jobs on it,
undergrad
really.
that you did.
Oh,
Hey?
yes, yeah, I want to make books. That's
Yeah.
always been the plan, but I wasn't quite sure when I first started. I thought I'd better take something that's a bit more general, in case I change my mind, whatever it is. So,
I did the same. I thought I'd do psychology, and then I started smoking because of psychology. So I stopped psychology. It didn't work for me. So what kind of books are you interested in? In kind of which
Do you
area of
think
the
that the
publishing industry?
desire to read is a job that our customers
I really
need to do?
enjoyed the commissioning class last
They
year.
were-
and
they were reading.
last semester, so I was
Are they reading?
going to
We have
commissioning.
Trade, specifically trade books.
And trade books specifically. I love
Yes,
fiction,
I like that.
but as
I'm going to take it one step further. We have to renew our minds to what content is. Because book is,
As you
book
do
is one
in
form.
South Africa. Right,
And
next
as
to
much as we
you.
love reading, you could be reading newspapers or you could be reading Twitter the whole day. Who am I to judge what's good to read or not to read? So one of the biggest challenges for us as publishers is to think differently about what we give people to do. What job are we helping them do? They might want to be in trade publishing.
That is a good idea.
If
That's
they
the
want to
perfect
be
reason to say
entertained,
publishing.
what marketing?
I specifically want to go into like the editing side,
Okay.
copywriting, community writing, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not very good at
Computer
writing,
games,
help with the process.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
And you know
I
what
mean,
your
there's a
writing
classic
skills
example.
develop.
Fabulous
The
books.
older you get, more life
TV took
experience
it
you have.
over. The author
So
just
I
couldn't
also
even
like the
keep up
editing
with
at
how
first, and
quickly
now I'm
TV
actually
grew.
ghostwriting
And he stopped
people's
writing.
stuff.
Now
So
the last
it
books they've been
happens.
written with
Just
another
because I get
person to
commissioned,
shape. The
so-
author's old.
And it's just
But
because I
nobody
like
reads
reading.
the books anymore.
So-
Great for the publisher.
Me, I'm
I
threatened.
mean, I think you'll buy them just to have it. Book lover like we are. If the
It's just
TV
a
series
subject.
took over. So entertainment
Good
is
evening,
one thing.
welcome. I'm just
could we
asking everyone to
say
introduce
to
themselves to me,
learn
and then I'll introduce me.
is another job that needs to get done.
Hi, my name is Wendy. Yeah.
Do I consider to learn?
Wendy, background, did you study with? Did you study somewhere else? Are you working? Are you, what's happening? Yes?
Okay, I studied journalism.
Sorry.
And then,
They're not learning things we want them to learn. They never are, Wilson. I want to show you a video quickly. I hope I can find it in another presentation.
so yeah, it's a lot of writing, yeah, publishing as well.
No, this is the
Okay.
big. So it's just a way of improving your skills in your current position and to enjoy
Have
the work
any of you
do
heard
now.
of Mr. YouTube Man?
It looks like it. Welcome. And I saw you in her office, Babongile. Yes. Here we go.
So I've actually arrived yesterday from Durban.
Wow.
So long story, I'm trying to get very short. Yeah, I registered for the course in 2013 when I was at the and
First time was through
back home.
we were just using SP.
So
Something so
I've been
complicated. But something came into my mind and
Okay.
no way, but I just need to
when I
Finish.
I know that my
So
life
my background is
Okay, it's not
journalism
easy.
studies and
No
philosophy,
project guide me.
and then I
I
did
was just alone in the field training.
as well. And
My
also,
father wanted me to be good.
so my next kind of thing I want to go
Everybody here is a runner. I took it as a challenge to find another way.
Yeah.
I started watching videos. The last step through. Elevation. It's just on your height, level of your height. I could see that training.
So when did you finish at Pan Macmillan?
I started now using a
And then you went to work with Saturn Shooter.
gym exercises.
Okay.
Exercises in everything changed. I was always increasing my distance.
Yeah.
My goal is me.
Yeah.
So I did
Videos. I was
Into publishing. But in Durban, obviously.
goal
Or
ever.
not, anyway. So are you joining us for the 6 months here? Have you relocated to... Okay.
It's now light.
Okay. Well, we hope you can be here all 12 weeks. Yeah. So welcome. And I've met Wilson. We were friends walking to class. Wilson, tell us.
license again.
I believe that.
So who publishes textbooks?
Founds.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The National
So,
Manufacturing
so if we publish books, is that the job that needs to get done?
Master's degree in engineering from Madagascar University.
See how the job that needs to get done has changed. Because what are you doing here? First year economics student. He will be the oracle. I say you have to learn supply and demand. And I have to sit in a lecture and listen to me talk about supply and demand. And then I do my little somiki in the front with a transparency machine and they see it. Maybe 10 students will attend. It's not the way our consumers want to learn anymore.
There's an organization.
You guys are the generation X, the millennials that are teaching us these things. Okay, so we learn differently. Okay, so entertainment is competing with other things than books. Learning is competing with other things than books. Teaching is competing with other things than books. So, you know, if I use a book or content to teach, I don't have to have it as a physical printed thing. Or even as a collection of anything.
Self-publishing.
I can decide
So,
how I learn
or
and how I
vanity
learn
press,
something
if you
new.
want
So
to
that
call
I
it that. But technology
That
makes
for
it a
me-
whole lot easier
we look at
for
marketing.
anyone to say what they think and feel.
We cannot ignore it.
Yeah.
Because in South Africa, we're trying to sell
Even Kim
books.
Kardashian is making everything publicly known.
Retail book space for trade.
Yes,
Things like
yes.
exclusive books.
Okay, well tonight's lecture is very much on that because that's my passion. And I need you to understand who I am and then we'll do marketing.
So we have
In self-publishing.
no, so we
at
have
University of
strong
Victoria.
chains, and we don't want
so it
those
was
chains
really
to not
just
sell
how
books, because
academics
there's still
don't
value
actually
in a
need
book.
publishers.
I would rather buy a physical book than I
because
would
at
any
that point I was
Kindle
commissioning
any day,
editor
because
from
Kindle's
Sky.
so impersonal.
And
How dare I
all the
forget
lecturers
into a
that I
cover
engaged
design?
with
Just
said
buy the
they
plain
don't want to
book,
work with
okay?
publishers anymore
But
because
I'm a
they can make
publisher, I
money
feel that way.
themselves.
Other people buy a
And so
Kindle,
looking into
and they have
all of that and
1,500
why it's
copies of books.
And I must say, my
Okay, they
research, my
consume
master's was still
content
based on
differently.
basically Web 2
And they will read
technologies.
all
So the moment
1,500
really the dawn of the
books
internet,
So in
when we
marketing in
had
South Africa,
push-pull
we have to
technology,
keep
so
in
read,
mind
write, not just
that
read.
we've got an industry
And
that
it's
still
so
needs
moved
to
beyond
grow.
that. I could probably do my doctorate on
So
that as well.
South African industry,
I'm sure you got this in your
but yeah,
one
so
of your
it's
other
very
lectures.
interesting.
But
Has-
I'll share some of
has
this with you. So
shrunk
welcome
in
Wilson, and it's nice to
size
see someone
from 5
reinventing
billion
themselves
to
before
3
retirement.
in 3 years.
Yes, South African
I'm
book
Michelle Safi.
publishing
I'm
industry.
from Rustenburg.
That's a
I
help.
studied
That's
my
almost
undergrad
50%.
At the University of Victoria.
Reason being,
Business
I'm
marketing
sure you know this,
management.
our school books were our main economic model
Straight
for
after
us.
that, I did my
And obviously with no new submissions, we're not creating new
and
books
then I
that
was
we are
out of
selling.
studying, so I took the
All the
first
publishers are extremely happy about history being introduced as a compulsory subject again in grade 12, which I think is anyway good. I think everyone should have history.
Communications assistant.
Us people, all arts people. So that's really, really good. And the publishers are excited. They can commission books again and there's going to be sales. And it's wonderful.
Because I like reading.
Government could move to a one textbook policy.
Money out of reading.
And then what happens to all our
Like dream
publishers?
jobs. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as publishers,
Oh, well.
I would
does
feel
Global
doing you a
Water-
disservice
what do
if
they
I
do?
taught you just to sell
So,
and market books.
it's a Southern
I have
African
to
branch
teach you
of
to
the
sell
WWW
and
Global.
market
And
content,
we're a financing partner
irrespective
for,
of the format.
like
And I
research
need you
and-
to be in that frame of mind.
It's like research
in
projects
our
to
lectures in
find
the
out
next
what,
couple of
what
weeks.
water projects can
Okay.
be implemented in different countries.
So
And
just to
obviously
move
lots of
on, I
research
don't know if you can
publications.
see this, or
Just
documents or
where
white
the web
papers or
went.
things like that.
So web
But
1
we're
was
not
really
really
1996. Who was
in
born
that.
then?
We're not involved in the
Well, so you
publishing
must be.
side.
Wonderful. So, okay, I was in
I just started working there because
Wilson, you were in your first job already.
like this really needs to
1996,
experience
I-
doing masters.
I was
And then I freaked out and
deputy
then 3
director.
weeks later I had this job.
Here's the oracle. Okay, so I was in 1996.
Really more the like
We got the
finance
first
and
wave.
side.
I remember
Any experience is good
and
experience.
we have
I
dialogue.
did, you'll see from my history, we ran a project for Google. We had our own company for a couple
couple of years,
Green letters.
and we ran
The
a
web
digital
was
skills
very much
training
the Britannica
program for the youth in
Online,
South
we
Africa.
were just pushing content.
And
No
we
one
would
could
actually,
engage,
after
no one
that,
could
we'd
talk
sit and
back.
help them with
We
their
basically
CVs and
took the
stuff,
yellow
and they'd
pages
say,
and
oh, I
put
don't
them
have
on.
experience.
So that's where the internet
Anything,
started.
if you help
And
out in
the history
church,
of this
if you
was
walk someone
from,
across the street for that
DARPA.
matter, and your
I don't know
intention
if
was
you've heard of
pure and
DARPA.
honest, you put
So
that on your
DARPA was
CV.
the
People want to see
US
intent more
military
than they want to see
intelligence
qualifications.
intranet system.
Good on you for
And they
being.
said maybe this has
Yes, my friend.
appeal
All right.
for the rest of the world. And that's
Lewis.
it. That's not- we were only
That is
pushing
Lewis Cool. That is the
Jake
coolest
went to
name.
start
That is cool.
Hello.
Hello.
And his cronies.
Statement.
That's when
But
some
I'm
publishing
from
also
Washington,
started.
D.C.
We started getting blogs, wikis. We were able to engage with content, push content back to the people who were creating content for us. Very little conversations, all about the clicks. Okay, we knew there were people on the other side, and they had stuff to say, but we had no way of tracking that.
Atlantic Art Center.
2006, it's only 12 years ago.
Bindings, all sorts of
Then Web 3 was with the dawn of mobile,
I'm here.
and the we call it the semantic web. So now I can start tracking you.
Well, maybe that's not it. No money in books. So how long have you been in South Africa?
In Highlands.
Only 6 months. Wow. And how are you finding our awesome country? We know how to sort our shit. That's we know.
And now
we can have fights, but we know how to sort our shit. We're very passionate.
We are moving
So
into what we
far,
call the
It's
meta web.
been.
So the web of webs. And we're already
haven't
seeing
quite
that
found the word.
with the
Oh, you're right. Every country has their own.
so much information
Yeah,
about the web.
In South Africa, it's
that
lacquer.
creating
Everything is lacquer.
Okay.
Okay.
She's in Yama,
All
lacquer.
your typical
Let's go with that.
online platforms are
Yeah.
all metal.
Okay, well, welcome. It's nice to have someone, and hopefully you can share some of your experience, especially in the Peace Corps. I think that's pretty
There's a
amazing.
whole issue around
It's my dream to go to
neutrality.
Atlanta, Georgia one day.
Really?
Who knows
Yes, I
about
think it's just
neutrality?
fantastic.
Happening.
Just to experience the southern hospitality.
It's great.
Okay.
Good. Oh, welcome. We have one new member. We're just introducing ourselves.
So,
My name is Jane. I think it has
Jane.
rights and protecting.
Wait, where are you?
Censorship.
Do you have another name?
As far as I know, it's not. But it's all about like
L-E-T-S. Wait, let me see where it is.
if they want you
No,
to
it's not on here, hey?
Facebook.
How do you spell it? L-E-T. S-H-A.
so in China we already have
Chani.
neutrality.
It's not
When
on
they
here,
block
Chani.
Facebook, they have 10.
But I will check.
So
And
they
your
already have
surname?
their own social networks.
Ndlovu.
So that's definitely one thing.
Okay, I'll
So
just check
big
with,
companies like Amazon and Google.
with
and
Colleen. But that's not a problem.
The
Welcome.
threat
The
is
more the
that they
merrier.
will control
So, Lechani, where are you
what
from?
we see. The reverse
Kempton
of
Park,
that
it's a big
is
drive,
that
hey?
governments are quite
Terrible
keen
traffic.
on net neutrality.
Oh,
because they
shut
want
up.
internet
Don't worry, I
internet.
also got lost here.
So in South Africa,
Yeah.
we see
It's scary if you don't know Vits. I didn't know Vits. And like into this building, you're like, oh, do I ever get out of here? Yeah, you just pretend.
And so, but there are governments.
Lechani, did you study at Wits?
So that's a big thing now
Eh?
for Web 4, the meta
First time
web.
at Wits.
How do we
Okay, so what did you do before?
And how do we make the web?
In
which
engineering.
initially
Wow. And
was
now the move from
intended
the
to be a
hard
good
sciences
thing.
like engineering to the liberal
This-
arts.
Tim, look at how this is. A biochocolate.
I know that. We all know that, eh? But I'm sure they're happy. But now you have to make you happy.
Okay?
Fantastic.
So here's
And
the
what do you
magic
hope to
concept
achieve with
of
an
Mobile
honest degree in
and made it
publishing?
into Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, Web 4.
Great.
Web 4.
We need new
He's
voices.
still heading
Lots
up
of them.
the.
So to get back to Jonathan Ball, I have to tell you a story.
And very much.
To give you my background as well. So I didn't know what I was going to study. After school I loved reading and I liked people, and so I enrolled for a BA General Tax. But I took all the publishing modules and all the side modules because I thought, psychology,
And they were like checking
made for
responsive
me.
design.
Psychology
And
stressed
now
me out
every piece of
entirely.
technology that
And
comes
I don't
out
think I'm
is automatic.
ready for that. Did my honours, my undergrad in publishing, did my honours in publishing, and then enrolled for my masters. Interned at Van Skype Publishers, so very much in the textbook, higher education textbook space. Worked there for 5 years, and then I got my masters. My masters was about self-publishing. And then I was lucky enough that one of the directors at NASPASH read my masters. Tell us. I want to show you another video. They said that they want us to start a company like that. So at that point we were competing globally with Lulu.com. Oh, you have to go Lulu. So he said he had Amazon's CreateSpace. He had all basically the same principle. Industrial age, wanted to do that for something all the economy. First banker said information economy. It's the best way to make money. You either come up with something really inventive stuff and you do it well. Now that's a big thing. But if you can't do that, you have to copy. I quickly want to show you another. That's the only 2 ways to make money. So we tried to copy. We wrote technology that cost us £1 million to develop. YouTube. That was the early days of tech. It does bring across a concept. And when I did a presentation to Jonathan Ball, because he was part of the directorship of NASPASH, he said he is the only one that decides what gets published in his company. I'll always remember that. And here I am saying, well, not really. Anyone can publish anything, anywhere, anytime, and you can't actually judge whether it's good or bad, because it's, everyone has their own opinion. So what I like, you don't like, and technology makes it possible. If I sell 2 copies of that, it's fine. If I sell 2,000 copies, it's fine. So technology makes it a whole lot easier for us. So after that, our technology was cut up and sold to Bits in NASPASH. So on the dot to use some of that technology for the e-magazines.
I really want to show you this.
It'll blow you Spree and all of those companies, Spree and Super what? That's one. They did use our e-commerce, our first e-commerce. Sorry, take 5 minutes. Then I decided that's not for me, and they wanted to put me in a box. So I went to Pearson, and I was their digital publishing manager for a while, and then from there really into digital and did digital strategy for the ATKV. And I mean, I'm Afrikaans, as you can hear, but the Afrikaanse Taal en Kultuurvereniging just wasn't for me. A lot of old men, that needed to reinvent themselves, so I didn't stay very long. Then I did e-commerce for 2 years, and then we decided now it's time to do our own business. So we had a business for 5 years that did digital transformation for companies, so everything, all your massive technologies, all of that. And then had the Google project for 2 years. And then I went on sabbatical because I didn't sleep for 2 years. We trained 73,000 people in 18 months, face to face. We had an online platform that only 2 people used. So in South Africa, the tech divide is still massive, especially when you go at a grassroots level. So after a sabbatical of 6 months, I also decided it's time to do something with my life again, and I am now an account manager at Cognition. So Cognition does e-learning. I like the idea around e-learning and the possibilities that it can open up for people who are far removed and have difficulty to access knowledge and information. And so that's where I am. I'm extremely passionate about publishing and books and love reading. And especially the whole digital issue around it and innovation and how you do innovation. I have an 11-year-old daughter who is the joy and the bane of my existence, but I love it to bits. And I hope we have some fun over the next 12 weeks.
I agree with
that. So at any point where you feel that I'm not giving enough, you have to tell me. Or if you feel I'm giving too much, you also have to tell me. Because I tend to give lots of information because I am an information person. Everything's information. Even this pen is like, I don't throw it away, there's information in there. It's purple, it's blue, it's perfect. So tonight's lecture, we do have a textbook. And next week I'll give you the breakdown of what we're going to do in that textbook. But I don't want this to be a formal, let's start and let's end with it. So tonight's lecture is very much about the whole digital world that we're living in. And we're going to start with a video If you do want to take this down, that's my email and my mobile number. So at any point, when you need anything, you just let me know. You can. I don't mind emails. I don't mind WhatsApps. It really doesn't bother me.
What is a book?
There we go. Now, oopsie daisy. Okay, has everybody got that?
It's weird to try and think about
A lefty, I see. Mr. Cool.
Got it.
Got it. Great. I'm going to go out here because the video from PowerPoint never works.
40 years ago.
So we're going to watch this video. I hope the sound is hard enough. And maybe you have seen it, maybe you haven't. But look at it, because this forms the basis of a lot of what we try to achieve in publishing. There are many other things as well, especially in South Africa. I'm sure you've heard this in your previous modules. There's so much we need to do.
I'll find it and I'll show it to you next time.
New voices.
Sorry about that, but it's really a good video.
Kind of core in the heart of making things known. Years ago, I published an article on Indigenous knowledge and how publishing is a representational system for Indigenous knowledge. So those things exist. But in this class, we're going to be slightly on wings for a while. And because we have to see the possibilities, to be able to aspire to things and to see how we can change the bottom here to get where we want to go.
And they will see technology
So, without further ado, I'll shut up now.
and not just into their personal lives. But I'll show you the video next time. Okay, so why is this important to understand the web? Because on the web, three things happen. And for us as publishers, this is extremely important. If we have an e-commerce site that's trying to sell a book about fly fishing, I'm competing with a gentleman who lives in Dahlstrom who has a blog and he talks about fly fishing on his blog. I'm competing for eyeballs on the screen. And that gentleman's content might be free. He might have self-published a book and people are buying his book through his Facebook page. Okay, so I'm losing potential sales as a publisher. Where is the value add of the publisher? What did the publisher do to say, but this is better? What is the role of the publisher? Yes? Curate. Yes. We'll talk about aggregation, curation a little bit later. And what is the role of curation? When I curate content, what do I do? You organize it. Remember, at the end of the day, publishing, whether it's online, on a device, through a device, in a book, through a book, on paper, is still about the right information at the right time, to the right person, through the right medium, using the right form. That's still there. One more time. Oh, sorry, because have you ever met anyone, and I'll say that piece now again, have you ever met anyone that said, I just bought a new Penguin book and I loved it? No. So how credible are we? Our brand is hardly seen. But people will say, I just bought a new John Grisham and it was really good. Or I just bought my first year economics book from Skype Publishing. So the head of Obama's social media book has been writing that handbook for the last 50 years. That's Auntie Sabaga and Mr. Wade. Okay, so where is our credibility? And we have to talk about that because we do have credibility, it just looks different. Okay, so
Publishing is still, irrespective of where and what and how, is about the right information or content at the right time, in the right place, to the right consumer, using the right medium or format, and the right technology. Okay. Right channel technology. So right medium, right channel. So if we had to break that down, I'm just going to look over your shelf. We set the right info or content at the right time when I need it most. I have a job to do, remember we talked about that. At the right place, if I'm driving and I need to find a place, that's what Google does very well, geolocation. I need info in the right place, the right time. To the right consumer, who we have to identify through the right medium or format and the right channel. And there's a difference between format and channel.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what is that difference?
Yes, because format is printed. Channel is exclusive books or Amazon.
Oh.
Okay. So what is my channel for purchasing books? Okay. So we're going to have to look at that.
So then the format would be?
So format can be digital, print, something that's broken down as a series. Serialization is a big thing now. The way Jane Austen did it when she published her first novel. That's back. Okay, so that would be the format. And in the actual channel at the end of the day is where do I buy it? How do I access it? And that's very much technology. Okay. All right. So on the web, this is happening. We've got conversations taking place thanks to the social web and the meta web. Okay, we're talking to each other more and more and more. And the Internet of Things, tech and hardware is talking back to us. Okay, so conversations are taking place. Very important. I'll send this out to you. Goodbye to the mass message and welcome to the conversation. We cannot have a mass message. Remember the 80s when we did billboards for cigarettes, billboards for alcohol? Mass message, okay? We still have billboards. We can't do billboards anymore. If I buy Omo, I'm not going to buy it because there's a massive billboard. I'm going to buy it because I've got a 6-month-old baby who made a terrible mess, and my friend who also has a 6-month-old baby said that's the best stuff to get all the spots out. Conversations. And how do brands fit into that conversation? Because remember, social media was not created for brands. Facebook didn't sit there and say, righto, Coke's going to talk to me. Nuh-uh. I like that chick in that varsity, I'm going to talk to her. Okay, so brands are interfering in social media. So how do brands, how are they honest, sincere, empathetic, sympathetic, without being a pain in the butt? And me having respect for it. Okay, very important. Peer-to-peer communication in what we call self-organizing communities of interest. I have a book club that I'm part of on Facebook that has 60,000 members. When I read something, I post it on there. The publisher has asked the administrator of that book club, can we advertise? No. Because it's real recommendations.
So, my sister and I started a book review blog.
Yeah? A book club?
A book review blog.
Oh, fantastic.
In 2015 or 16.
Yeah.
And that's one of the... So we haven't kind of put stuff up in quite a while. I've been reading in the background, but there's been no drive to go back on there and actually post stuff. And I think a lot of it comes from, well, actually, what are we doing differently? Because it just feels like we're doing the same, or much the same as everyone else is doing. So it's kind of a conversation about disrupting, because I think there is a space to disrupt what book reviewers are doing in South Africa. So I think it's, as you're saying, it could be something.
I think where you should probably play is in the space that Funza does with new writers. So do you know Funza? Yeah. So what Funza does, they started basically as a mobile self-publishing platform. FUNDZA. and Funza, they do reader reviews, and they've got a very wide audience. And it's unique because it's not mainstream. It doesn't talk about the new John Grisham or, I don't know Afrikaans writers that well. Helene de Kok. What am I reading at the moment? Oh, a book on sense making. I'll tell you about that. Okay, so you have to do it different, yes. You have to look for the non-mainstream voices, and it's about a conversation. And you can drive it. That's how bloggers make money. They drive conversation. So what we're getting in companies now are community managers. Okay. Please remember that. Community managers. Content. Here are those 5 things. We still communicate information for what purpose, to whom, in which form, via which channel. Information, purpose, audience, form, and channel. Any content has to adhere to those things. Content has to be some form of information with some form of purpose, intended for a specific audience, communication theory, in a specific format or medium, going out via a specific channel. When we communicate or try to sell something, that's what we're communicating. That's what we're selling. Okay. Because of this, we now get content marketing. All of your friends are in content marketing. They all have a social media business that drives sales for companies. Content strategies and content management systems. Okay, so Joomla does content management systems. WordPress is a content management system. Wix websites do content management systems. So a lot of your online platforms do this automatically now. Years ago, we still had to implement it from scratch. So we have conversations taking place online, which means the mass message doesn't work. We have to be in a conversation. The question is, how does a brand start creation, get into start a conversation, get into that conversation and manage that conversation. We've got content that's still important. That's what we do. That's the backbone of publishing. But that content has to have the right purpose for the right audience, okay? And that's when we have to have good content marketing strategies. And right at the end of it, to put it all together, we have what is called democratized media. I'm doing my doctorate on that. Democratized media. Democratized media says on the internet, everyone is a publisher. And it's true. The definition of publish is to make known. So if Kim Kardashian tweets, Kanye just bought a new car, she published. We don't have to agree with it, but she published. She made it known that Kanye bought a new car. So, yes, the purpose and the audience and the form and the channel is going to look different for every piece of media, but it exists. And as publishers, we have to help people, readers, consumers, whoever we want to target, to make sense of all of this. But it's democratized because there's more and more and more and more and more of it available. We saw the amount of conversations taking place online. When the playing field is level, trusted content is even more important. And that's where curation comes in. How do we as publishers create trusted content that people need, want, will buy to solve a specific problem or task they have, and that they know they can rely on us? And the irony is, when you tell anyone, despite all of this happening on the net, when you tell anyone you're in publishing, they're like, oh, I have a book I want to write.
Exactly.
Because inherently people still believe that getting published means you are the shizzle. You've made it. And that's the power we have. Somehow, despite all of this, people still believe in the power of getting published. And we have to leverage that. What's that power? We have to find that power again. Okay. So, democratized media is where we look at new technologies and new business models. So, moving from product innovation, from print to ebook, to service innovation. Don't buy the ebook, subscribe to our ebook. Subscription is a service. So that's where we do a lot of that. Okay. Right. We've seen the amount of conversations taking place online. Just that quote's quite nice. In the digital age, it seems anyone who posts a couple of words online refers to themselves as published. And any company that engages in distributing content can refer to the activity of publishing. Is Discovery a publisher? Yes. Yes. Is Coca-Cola a publisher? Yes. Who is the biggest publisher of content in the world? Google. Okay. Google. Good one. Curated content. Red Bull.
What? Really?
Red Bull and Coke does the same thing. So Coke has what they call their business strategy. It's called Content 2020. That's their business strategy. So they're not selling a soft drink, they're selling experience. And how do we sell experience? We let people write their stories when they drink Coke or when they experience it. So they make ads, videos, infomercials, commercials, whatever about the experience. Nando's does the same thing. It's not, what is the purpose of that content? What is the job that needs to be done when we watch a Nando's ad? For us, entertainment.
Yes, but I think
And to humanize the product.
To humanize the product?
I think Red Bull is taking it a step further in a sense that they've actually taken hold of certain real-world activities that people actually get interested in, like kids playing on the what do you call it? The desk, roller coasters, and then they turn them into events.
That's the thing.
And they use that then as themes to.
Yeah. So if they sponsor skateboarding, they have a digital asset management database of skateboarding. Professional skateboarders who are being interviewed, people who give tips and tricks, people who talk about injuries, and not just ads, not just things that we need to sell. They don't sell. They don't sell a soft drink. They sell an experience. Coke sells experience. Yes.
Red Bull's like tagline isn't the energy drink anymore. It's the adrenaline rush that they do. They sponsor all the sports that do that. They have their own Formula One team.
Exactly.
They're doing brilliantly.
So, to give you an example, years and years and years ago, I did work for a company called 30 Degrees South Publishers. They did a lot of military books. And they started publishing on the Red Bull air races. And then that was really at the start of Red Bull. And then Red Bull started really pushing the content around Red Bull air races. So not just interviews, but what kind of airplane do you need? The wind velocity when you go through all 6 of those events. How to, any content you can think about. And 30 Degrees South, as a traditional publisher, had to stop publishing because people aren't going to buy a book. A nice, beautiful picture book of 270 Rand for the coffee table if they can look it online. Because what do we do now? We go home, and this to me is amazing, I'm not there yet. But people just go, they've got a TV, but the TV is like a massive computer screen. So if I want to learn about Red Bull flying, we're having a Musha party, and my friends go on and they read all of that. They sit there while bloody music's playing and they read about flying. That's how people consume content. Where's our advantage? Okay, don't worry, don't fear. Right, of course Google. So page 1 is legitimate search. Page 2 and 3, it's got to be here somewhere. When you go to page 4, it's desperate, and then you see page 8, God help what you are still doing here, because often it's just a mess, okay? But Google is real. Google publishes content. We had an interesting ordeal when we did the digital skills program. So we were engaging with the Small Enterprise Development Agency, and the gentleman there said he doesn't want to work with us because Google published stuff about him that wasn't true. And then we explained to him that Google is just like a librarian. They're not a publisher. Google is a librarian. They aggregate from all over the world. They've written the perfect algorithms so that when you type in fish, you get everything about fish. They're not a publisher. They're an aggregator. They're a librarian. Okay. So we see brands becoming publishers more and more. And why are they doing that? First of all, search technology has improved. Whether it's my mobile, whether it's on desktop, whether it's Google Glass, or whatever, I'm able to search anything, anywhere. Ask my 11-year-old, and she'll say, just Google it. Google has become a verb. That's how amazing they are. I mean, that's when your company's made it. When you know Google, you can Google it. It's a verb for heaven's sake. Okay, so search technology, we're all competing for the same eyeballs. And this is when marketing, especially digital marketing, has to look at search engine optimization, social media optimization. Have any of you heard of those terms?
I have a friend who does it.
Hey?
I have a friend who does it.
You see, so we can get them in for a lecture for us. So this is extremely important because when I search Penguin Books, John Grisham, I don't want people to come into my front door necessarily. I want them to be able to come in on any page on my website that leads them to the best user experience. But not just publishers, a lot of companies do fantastic SEO on their landing page and nothing on the rest. Okay, you have to have good SEO because people on the internet enter anywhere. They're not coming in at your front door. The second thing, low barriers to entry. Technology is owned and the internet is free for all. Not data, the internet is free for all. I can start a blog tonight. If Discovery, I actually have a nice example after this, but if Discovery publishes an article about neonatal care, and I am an ICU neonatal nurse for babies, and I decide, yes, I don't like that article, I'm going to start a website tonight, and I'm going to start writing about prem babies in the ICU unit. Nothing stops her. Nothing. How she does it and how she gets the eyeballs there is another thing. But if her voice is loud enough, it can happen. So publishers become what we call an authoritative voice. How do we become an authoritative voice online? Any brand who's worth their 2 cents is an authoritative voice. So if we think about Red Bull is an authoritative voice on adrenaline. Coke is an authoritative voice on stories. Who does not like Coke here? You're not the target audience. Okay. And then the last thing, the self-organizing communities. Okay. The rise of social media, the connected media, and the convergence of technology. We had a program where we ran digital skills. I had 65 social entrepreneurs who did not one have a laptop. They projected the presentations from their mobile device. That technology exists. They did their reports via WhatsApp, pulled into Google Drive. So technology is converging. Your fridge will become the person who tells you it's your fiance's birthday. They'll become your mother.
Yeah. Isn't it all a bit scary?
Of course it's scary. It's very scary. It's the rise of the machine like a matrix. Remember, I'm sketching to you the fact as it is. In 10 years from now, Facebook might not exist. And then we have to change everything. But the reality is where we stand now. This is on the increase. YouTube grows by like 600,000 users every 6 months in South Africa. We'll look at the stats while in the course. So we cannot ignore the fact that people are on YouTube. Consumers are there consuming whatever they are. If they're not buying books in our bookshop, where are they? How do we sell content to them? How do we package it so that it's appealing to them? And we're going to look at publishers, e-commerce sites and all of that. So it's scary. I need to create a reality for you. That this is the world in terms of brands. So if you look at this, magazine, so you would expect parenting content from him. Sorry, you can see my frame of reference, eh? So, magazine, traditional content publisher. Magazine, printed format, later digital. Pampers, nappies. My Slim Kid, 2 moms who started a program, later with leisure books to distribute educational toys, and then they started writing about how to stimulate your child with crayons, how to get them ready for school. They became an authoritative voice. And then Pink Footer was another one. I did this for another publisher, so I just used those examples. But traditional publisher, brand, 2 parents, parent. And they're all competing in the same space. So they sell parenting content. They sell parenting content. They don't just talk about nappy rashes. They sell parenting content. And they sell parenting content. You see how the playing field's leveled? Because technology made it so. So how does the traditional publisher keep the edge? With trusted content, being that voice. But we have to play real hard to be that voice.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you cultivate a trusted or credible voice?
Absolutely. We can look, for example, at The President's Keepers, the book that NB published. I mean, nobody knew about NB, honestly, until that book, okay? And then that book came out and we had the lawsuits. We couldn't be more grateful as publishers for all the bad stuff because there's no publicity like bad publicity. But that's a good example of how people suddenly realized, sure, this is a publishing company that went balls to the walls and said, we're going to publish this. And they made a name for themselves. And I think after that effect, it's possibly something to research, I think they did see a hike in other sales as well.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They still found, they went and they said, this is a real concern. This is part of the collective thinking currently in South Africa. Something's wrong with our president. Something's going on. They knew that this lawyer journalist was investigating it. They talked about a potential book. So they were on the pulse of the public, which is still important. We still have to be that as publishers. And then they did the whole writing of the manuscript and release very, very secretively. But they were successful, even despite all the illegal copies going on. So they were right in pushing what they knew consumers wanted. And they didn't do anything fancy. They didn't make an app, or start a petition, or have a conversation. They went and they said, we know this is what you're feeling. The public, the reading public, could be interested in this. We are going to create a quality product, irrespective of the consequences. So they stick to their guns. So it can still happen. What happened on WhatsApp with that book? Who got the illegal copy? Jeez Louise, where did that come from?
They released it themselves.
Well, that's a marketing strategy.
No, they were scared the book was going to be shut down, so they sent it out themselves.
Yes.
Okay?
Isn't that, I getting goosebumps.
And even though they lost a couple sales, there's still people went back and bought the actual
Absolutely.
over 150,000 copies.
Mm.
I mean, just, it's unbelievable. So it can be done. And I had very good interviews with the author, face-to-face but also online. And it created a whole conversation online. I think that's probably the best example of online conversation. And people were talking about it. It was there, and it was theirs all the time. Their brand was still in the background, because people talked about the book and not the brand. But
Yes.
now people know, sure, that publisher, they are gutsy.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
You need to separate the book from the brand.
Yes.
The book sales happened because of the story,
Yes,
but the brand benefited because they stood up
that's
to
right.
the bullies.
Yes. And all the letters that they sent to the lawyers were published like online on social media. And people were commenting. So just by doing their normal day-to-day business, just leveraging technology a little bit, they were able to create conversation. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so the playing field is leveled. Companies, both big and small, need to imagine themselves as publishers, and they do. Anybody who does social media marketing will tell a company it's all about the content. Okay? On the internet, every company is a media company. Discovery, media company. Coke, media company. I dare you to find one company that does not publish content. Nike publishes content. I don't know who does not publish content. I mean, Chicken Licken does content. And I mean, it's not content. You can say it's not content, but what's the job that's getting done? It's probably entertainment, and that's fine. In the case of Red Bull, it's to learn, to experience that adrenaline. That's the job that the consumers want to get done. So we have to understand the job that needs to get done for whichever brand or product we're pushing. Try to be engaging and provide value to the target audience, making sure your voice is heard in the noise and clutter. Again, think about the President's Keeper. There was a lot of stuff going on at that point in the media. But indie publishers were able to keep their voice very clear and very stern, despite the conversation. Okay, good marketing team. The internet is free for all. The balance of power is shifting. And as publishers, we need to know that. But publishers are doing amazing things in terms of marketing and selling their product and their services. Okay. I might stop tonight's lecture here. And I want to give you some homework for next week, if you don't mind. So two things. I want you each to come back with an example of a publisher who had a really innovative digital marketing campaign. Or I just want to say a really innovative marketing campaign. Something creative, something that you thought was wow. And look at different things. Look at what they did on their own website. Look at what they did on social media. Look at what they did in the retail space, in the actual physical environment. But just find an example of a publishing company that did something really innovative in terms of marketing and their campaigns around that. If it's local, that's fantastic. If it's international, that's fine. But local would be nice. So search for that. Okay. Then the second assignment.
Sorry, are we
Yes.
talking creative content here or just any publisher?
Any publisher.
Okay.
So if you come back with a magazine publisher, that's fine. Because I don't want to limit us to thinking about books only. If we did corporate publishing, we would be looking at that. So open your mind to people who distribute content. Okay. Yeah. But come back with a nice example. Then the second task is within traditional publishing companies. So your typical PASA members. Okay, you all know what PASA is, hey? PASA is the Publishers Association of South Africa. And if you go onto their website, let me quickly show you. It's www.publishsa.co.za. So there is members. If you click on members there, then you get their full directory. Okay, so you can search by category, but you can just go to list all members.
from traditional South African publishers. I want you to do a bit of research on what their marketing team looks like. Okay, so you can identify one company and just look at, do they have a director of marketing, a head of marketing, a marketing assistant, but more importantly, do they have things like a data analyst, because Penguin Global does. Do they have a market researcher? Do they have a social media manager or a community manager or an e-commerce manager? Although that's more on sales side, but we can look at that. And let's look local and see what we can find. If you don't find anything, then I'd say go international. But I want us actually later to compare it to what's happening globally. So focus for that second part of for next week just on local. Okay. So those two things. Identify a company that publishes content and have done something really innovative in terms of their marketing. If you want to send me videos or links that we can show in class next Monday, then do that via email. I'll send out a reminder to you on Thursday. Okay, then we can look at those together on my laptop. And then the second one is to look at South African traditional publishers on this catalogue and look at the structure of their marketing divisions. Right. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed the first class.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm so glad. Next week we'll get into the textbook of things. But this week I had to open your minds to possibilities. Thank you so much.
A question.
Yes.
When is that, you said the head of Obama social media